Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Emotions run high in court as a family comes face to face with the man who kidnapped and killed a beloved Detroit nurse.
How would you like somebody to do that to your mama or your sister? Huh?
Jameer Miller is going to spend the next 35 to 60 years in prison for the murder of Patrice Wilson.
But before the judge delivered his ruling, Wilson's family got their chance to speak directly to the man who took her life. Sean Lay is live tonight. Sean, I know it was very emotional.
And Kimberly, I want to take everyone right inside the courtroom here at Frank Murphy, filled with family of Patrice Wilson, filled with extra security, and filled with such emotion. Members of Wilson's family directly look at this man, her killer, in the face with some deeply personal comments. You got to listen closely.
You don't do that to me. You never did that to me. It's nobody in this world that is scared of you as a man, bro. You scare women.
Tyrese Berry is the father of Patrice Wilson's son. Wilson ripped from her son and family in the most brutal of ways. Her killer, her boyfriend at the time, Jameer Miller, who pled guilty of kidnapping and murdering Wilson. Miller taking a plea deal instead of going to trial. At sentencing today, Berry spoke directly to Miller, his words so intensely personal.
You man enough to tell everybody what you did to my baby mama. What did you do to yours? You got your people, see, you got your mama here. You embarrass your family for life.
Miller pled guilty to stalking Wilson as her shift ended as an RN at Detroit Receiving Hospital. Miller was in disguise, wearing a blonde wig. He abducted Wilson, left her dead inside her SUV.
You put on a wig. A wig. Why is you hard? You still acting like you hard? You cannot act like you hard, bro. You cry yourself to sleep. You miss Patrice so much. You cry yourself to sleep. You about to take this plea? Take it. Just know that he will never make it out of this. There's gonna be them cars and they're gonna be fading. Family gonna forget about you. Your mama gonna forget about you.
The final word from Wilson's heartbroken grandmother, Pamela Golden.
How would you like somebody to do that to your mama or your sister? Huh? But I hope somebody will touch you. You know what I'm talking about.
Back here live, quite a sentencing here. Miller had a prepared statement. He only read a little bit of it and then didn't want to read the rest of it. He did hint toward a motive, saying Patrice wanted to pay off something that they owed on. He said a rental car. He said, I just wanted my money, indicating that he went after her for money, apparently, during an argument. He also called the relationship toxic, but you guys said it, 35 years minimum for Miller. Back to you.
So Sean, why was a plea deal offered to Miller? He was facing life in prison.
Absolutely, life in prison. A lot of family members say you deserve life in prison here. He did plead guilty to all of these things. Well, going to trial, there was some certain details about what happened when Miller put Patrice in that SUV that family just didn't want to hear, or they couldn't hear at a trial. It's just too painful for that. Then outside of that, if you take a step forward, giving that case to a jury, you know, sometimes you never know what a jury is going to do, and they wanted to take what was given here, lock him up for 35 years.
I can understand that. So emotional for that family. Okay, Sean, we appreciate your report this evening.
Today, Wayne County Sheriff Raphael Washington laid out programming plans for the move into the new jail. But right now, the big question is still when that move into this massive new complex will occur. Rod Maloney has been closely following this story ever since ground was broken on it, which seems like a long time ago now, Rod. The complex has been bogged down by delays.
Well, it has, Devin. And, you know, the sheriff told me today that he would like to get inmates in here like tonight, if he could, tomorrow even. He said, but that is not likely to happen at this point. Now, this has been the problem with this facility since they started planning it over a dozen years ago.
There's a lot to like about the new Wayne County Jail complex. The sheriff's office today giving us these glossy pictures showing off a jail without bars, with a lot of video cameras, about 1,000 of them, much more supervision that watches over the population from above with an eye toward rehabilitation instead of punishment. Sheriff Raphael Washington today saying,
the new jail is designed and programmed with classrooms, medical interview rooms, and a jail on every housing unit where inmates reside while in our custody.
But here is the rub. As it has been from the beginning, it's way above budget, $70 million above. Right now costing some $570 million, says the County Commission committee watching the project. Dan Gilbert's Rock Company's picking up much of that cost. Twice now, Rock has told the county the complex, which will also include the prosecutor's office, part of the county clerk's office, and the juvenile detention program, is ready. But the county has twice said no, that the building is not ready. We're also told it's going to take about 6 months to move everyone into the building, and the county says it will have to pay rent if they go over that time frame, so there is considerable fear of that happening. So today, when Local 4 asked the sheriff when we're likely to see the jail inmates move in here, he said,
I would like to hope that it's the end of the year, but if not, it's going to be early next year. But it's not anything that we can do as the sheriff's office to push that forward. It's a construction issue that the county exec's office are diligently working with to make sure that we can get in there in a timely manner.
Now, one of the things this facility should do is to make the communication better among the staffers. In other words, when an inmate gets checked in, they'll have one central location and all the departments will know about that particular inmate. And that's important, we're told, because the sheriff's department says that right now, the 1,300 inmates that are there, 40% of them, over 500, are on some sort of mental health medication. Back to you.
Man. Rod, let's talk about capacity for a second. Once this does finally open, is it full from the date that the gates open?
Well, the direct answer is no, says the sheriff's department, because it has 2,280 beds. They've got 1,300 inmates. But that also is governed by the amount of staff they have. And one of the problems they've had is hiring new jail guards. And so they're desperate to get more jail guards and hoping that this new facility will help them get them in order to have enough capacity, enough, basic guards to help them guard the number of inmates that are in here when they do actually get here.
You can be full based on personnel rather than on bed space. Yeah. All right, Rod. All right, let's move now to Election Day across Metro Detroit. Voters heading to the polls to decide a number of local issues this time around.
And there's plenty to decide, too. We're tracking more than 160 ballot issues, everything from school boards to mayors to bond issues. Will Jones is here to help break down some of the key races. Will.
Kimberly and Devin, first, there is still time to vote. Polls close in just a few hours at 8 o'clock tonight. In some communities, this election will bring about some new faces.
The balance of power in the state house could temporarily shift if two Democratic state reps win their mayoral races. Kevin Coleman is running in Westland and Lori Stone in Warren. Right now, the Dems have a 56-54 majority in the state house. So a win for Stone and Coleman in their races would lead to an even split among Democrats and Republicans in that chamber, at least until a special election. In the Warren mayoral race, where Stone is facing off against former city council member George Demas, a familiar name isn't on the ballot. Longtime Mayor Jim Fouts, who is term limited. Staying in Macomb County, East Point voters will be electing a new mayor, either Mary Hall Rayford or Michael Kleinfeld. Incumbent Monique Owens lost in the primary. In Wayne County, voters in Inkster are choosing between the incumbent Patrick Wimberly and former Mayor Byron Nolan. Wimberly was indicted in federal court in October, accused of accepting $50,000 in bribes, which could be on voters' minds as they cast their ballot. In Oakland County, 3 communities, Birmingham, Keego Harbor, and Rochester, are voting on whether to allow the sale of recreational marijuana.
In the case of the state representatives running for mayor, if they win, House Speaker Joe Tate from Detroit will continue to serve in the role. If there is a 54-54 split, House rules only allow for a new speaker election if there's a 55-55 split. So you got that?
Yeah. It's going to be, that's one of the really key things to watch tonight is what happens with the impact on Lansing. Yeah. All right,
we'll be watching.
Yeah.
Will.
Capitol Police arrested a man armed with a rifle near the Senate office buildings today. He was confronted by police while he was walking in a park. Officers told the man to drop the weapon. When he didn't, they say they tased him. Police say the suspect is a 21-year-old man from Atlanta. Capitol Police say they believe the man was acting alone and that there has been no threat to the public.
A freighter is stuck in the middle of the St. Clair River. The 617-foot American Courage was hauling 20,000 tons of stone when it ran aground this morning near Marine City. No injuries have been reported, and the Coast Guard tells us shipping lanes are still open in the river. Authorities say they're working with the ship's owner to safely refloat the vessel.
All right, we turn our attention to the weather. Clouds have parted a bit as we take a live look at Belle Isle from our downtown sky cam.
And it's been a really nice day up north, too, as we take a look at live pictures from Drummond Island and the ferry dock. About 20 degrees or so cooler up there right now. But we'll take, 50 degrees and no rain for a Tuesday, the first full week of November.
Not bad as we get it over to Kim Adams and look at what's on the way for tonight. Kim?
Not bad at all. It's cooler than yesterday, but still okay. 51 downtown. Cooler north, though. When you get to Pontiac, it's only 45, a chilly 46 in Mount Clemens, mid-40s in Port Huron, and 41 in Sandusky, 50 out at Metro Airport. It is quite a bit cooler than it was at this same time yesterday by 17 degrees in Mount Clemens, 16 degrees cooler right now in Pontiac, and 15 degrees cooler in Howell. And it's even cooler for tomorrow as we only get temperatures in the upper 40s. Well, it's the home opener out at Michigan. Tip-off is 8:30. Temperatures will be dropping down into the low 40s, so when you're walking in, just be prepared for it to be a little chilly. Tomorrow, well, we start the day dry, but we end it with some rain and much cooler temperatures, highs only in the 40s. We'll talk more about when the rain comes tomorrow in a few minutes.
All right, Kim.